I think we all can agree on one thing. Believe it or not, in 2024, people can actually agree on some things. There's nobody who actually, at least nobody that I know or that I hear, who would actually hope for the downfall of a game. What I mean by that is, a lot of people are accusing the community that, you guys saying that the community hasn't given the game a chance. Why is everybody hating on the game so much? People are just, hating the game because they want to see it fail. That's not the case. People were so highly anticipating the launch of Warzone Mobile, and so many people never got a chance to play the beta because it was such not only region limited, unless you had a VPN, but then they purposely limited the devices that even had the capability of downloading the game. So of course, on March 21st, was it March 21st? I think it was March 21st, when the game finally launched. Yes, finally. Then people get into the game, and then they have a horrible experience where they're cooking their lunch on their phone. The frames are horrible, the cardboard graphics. I mean, it was just not a good experience. So of course, people took it to Reddit, they took it to Twitter. People were making YouTube videos about it. And this is the whole issue behind the whole thing, is what happened with the content creators. Content creators were obviously, and I was a part of it as well, where content creators were more or less under attack because all the content creators were saying, how wonderful the game was. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's the most fun I've ever had. It's magical, end quote. And people were saying that their experience has been perfect. And then people who didn't have that same experience took a lot of offense to what the content creators were saying. And why were all the content creators saying this? They were saying this because of the paid sponsorships. And that's where there's a huge disconnect to what the content creators were saying versus what the majority of the community was saying. And then you just had this huge beef where anytime a content creator would upload something or post something, like on Twitter, for example, it was just attack. When Sandy made a great point, where he says he can't even put out a post without being attacked, being called a shill, a sellout, and just, pretty derogatory or very negative connotations around them because he is a paid creator. So what I want to ask is, for the few of you that watch my videos, you guys have to understand there has to be a balance. Like I said in my last Warzone video, people are not stupid. Well, some people are, but a lot of people are not stupid, especially the content creators. They know the state of the game. They know the state of the game. They know, trust me, they know better than anybody what the state. People can say that they're disconnected and this and that. Trust me, they know. The biggest issue is what Warzone did with the paid sponsorships, because they did the sponsorships before the game even launched. All right, it was almost like they did it on purpose. It's like they did the paid sponsorships on purpose, knowing that they would be able to basically have the tongues of all the creators, because there's contracts and all these things, and knowing that it was going to be rough, that it was going to be a rough launch. I mean, there's no reason for me to believe that they didn't think this launch was going to be the worst launch in history. They had to have known. There's just absolutely no way, especially with the size of Activision. There's just no way they didn't know. The difference is, because I've had, up until a few months ago, I had a 2 or 3 year, I had like a 3-year paid sponsorship with PUBG Mobile. The difference is, when PUBG Mobile launched, they didn't have these big long contracts that they were putting out towards people. You had to make content and kind of pave your way and make your way into these programs. And this is the same thing with a lot of other companies as well. Call of Duty, for example. they didn't launch the game and have all of these. They might have had paid advertisers, but they didn't have long-term contracts, which is, it's kind of the bread and butter. It's what every creator kind of hopes for, is to have a 6-9 month, a year contract. It's a lot of peace of mind and a lot of financial stability in that creator's life. So all these other games, you basically had to grind, for 2 or 3 years and make more or less honest content to show that you were worthy of getting a contract. You put in the work, you grind, you put in those hours. Hey, we're going to reward you. Here's a contract. Here's a bunch of money. The difference is that's not what Warzone did. They came out of the cannon with these sponsorships. And I really do feel bad. Honestly, I feel bad for everybody. I feel bad for the community because it was the creators that hyped up the game so much, which got everybody else excited. And then they played the game and their phone, ignited in flames. But I also feel really bad for the creators because they're in such a pinch. They are stuck between a rock and a hard place because they can't, trust me, they can't say what they actually want to say. And I feel for them. I have been there. Again, in case you missed my last video, I have had Tencent, which is of course the dev of PUBG Mobile, where they've messaged me and said, that video you just put up, you got to take it down. You cannot, that is in violation of the contract. And what do? You jeopardize your bread and butter, you jeopardize your livelihood, or do you say, all right, you know what, it's not a big deal, I'll take down the video and I'll just make some other videos and no one will know the difference. Of course, it's a very tough spot everybody's in. What we need to hope for is that the next few updates that Warzone Mobile drops are going to be absolutely game-changing for everybody. I mean, we understand you can't play Warzone Mobile on a Nokia, right? Who would want to anyway? But hopefully it's something they can address the heating issue, which I think is, at this point, probably the biggest one. The overall graphics, sharpening up the graphics, and of course, FPS. Huge FPS drops for a lot of players. I mean, a lot of players are expecting to have 90 FPS in these games, and some people are barely getting 30, 40. It's a huge downgrade from the game that they came from. So let's remain hopeful for the next few updates. If what I say means anything, I would love to see kind of like a ceasefire with this whole content creator versus community, and community versus content creator. We had iStream. He just did an ad for Raid Shadow Legends. He just dropped an ad for Raid Shadow Legends, and people in his live stream were calling him a sellout. Like, bro really needs the money. It's like you guys totally forget the fact that many creators are doing this full time. It's actually their job. It's not one of those jobs where you can just do it, for 8 hours, clock out and be done. You're constantly thinking about the next thing you're going to make, the post you're going to do. You're constantly on business calls, emails, checking your own comments, not to mention getting gameplay, editing it, coming up with titles, thumbnails, descriptions, tags. Unless you've done it, just saying it isn't enough. It's something you would actually have to do to really know the man hours that are put in to each and every video. Oh, and let's not forget doing actual live streams. I mean, the fact that people are going to be trying to clown on iStream, who's one of the coolest guys, the most chill guys in the mobile gaming community, calling him a sellout and like making fun of him, talking about bro needs money because he got a sponsorship with Raid Shadow Legends. That is the most ridiculous. It's gotten way too out of hand, you guys. So I would love to see a ceasefire and to at least give the game a chance to get some of the updates out. Because it's painful. It's not fun. I mean, it was kind of funny for like, 2 or 3 days. But once people start attacking unnecessarily, it's just gotten to be way too much. So again, I'm going to try to remain hopeful. You guys were watching my boy, the Vizoff. Of course, his link to his channel will be down in the description. Make sure you guys go ahead and check him out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, man. It's been wild and crazy out there. So anyway, we'll see what happens.